The rain came down hard that October evening when Marcus Hayes saw the stranded Mercedes in the parking garage. He was finishing his shift at Sterling Motors, tired from 12 hours of oil changes and brake repairs. Marcus had been working as a mechanic for 6 years now, ever since his wife Linda died, giving birth to their daughter Sophie. The girl was 5 now, waiting at his mother's house for him to pick her up. Every day was the same rhythm: work, pick up Sophie, dinner, homework, bedtime, repeat. But something about that luxury car sitting there with its hood up made him pause. A woman sat in the driver's seat, her phone pressed to her ear. She looked frustrated, wet from trying to check the engine herself. The car's hazard lights blinked weakly. Marcus approached slowly and tapped on the window. The woman looked up, startled. She was maybe 40, blonde hair pulled back, wearing an expensive suit that was now rain-soaked. She lowered the window halfway. "Ma'am, I'm a mechanic here," Marcus said. "Looks like you're having trouble." "The engine just died," she said, her voice tense. "I called roadside assistance, but they said it'll be 2 hours. I have somewhere I need to be." Marcus glanced at his watch. His shift had ended 10 minutes ago. His mother was expecting him. But something in the woman's eyes, that particular kind of stress he knew too well, made him nod. "Let me take a look." He grabbed his toolbox from his truck and popped the hood. The rain soaked through his work shirt immediately, but he'd been wet before. His hands moved with practiced efficiency, checking connections, testing the battery. The woman got out and stood under a small overhang, watching him work. "You don't have to do this," she said. "You're off the clock, aren't you?" "Yes, ma'am," Marcus replied, not looking up. "But my daughter's learning about helping people in kindergarten. Figured I should practice what I'm teaching her." He found the problem: a corroded battery terminal and a loose connection. Simple fix. 5 minutes with the right tools. "There," he said, closing the hood. "Try it now." The woman slid back into the driver's seat and turned the key. The engine purred to life. Relief washed over her face. Marcus was packing his tools when he heard the voice behind him. "What do you think you're doing?" He turned to see Richard Westbrook, the garage manager, striding toward them. Richard was in his 50s, always wore suits even in the garage, and had never liked Marcus much. "Get away from that car," Richard snapped. "You have no authorization to work on vehicles outside your assigned bay." "Sir, I was just helping." "You were performing unauthorized repairs on company property using company tools, off the clock," Richard interrupted. His face was red. "That's theft of services and violation of protocol." The woman stepped forward. "Excuse me, this man just helped me when—" "Ma'am, I apologize for any confusion," Richard said smoothly. "This employee will be disciplined. We have proper channels for after-hours service." Marcus felt his stomach drop. He needed this job. Sophie needed this job. "Please," Marcus said quietly. "I was only trying to help." "You're fired," Richard said flatly. "Turn in your keys and employee badge. Security will escort you out." The woman's eyes widened. That's completely unreasonable. He was being kind. "Company policy is company policy," Richard said. "Now if you'll excuse me, ma'am." Marcus's hands shook as he removed his badge. 6 years, gone in a moment. How would he tell Sophie? How would he pay rent? The woman caught his arm as he walked past. "What's your name?" "Marcus Hayes, ma'am." "I'm very sorry this happened," she said softly. He just nodded and walked to his truck, his toolbox feeling heavier than ever. 3 days later, Marcus was dropping off another job application when his phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Hayes? This is Catherine Sterling." The name meant nothing to him. "Yes?" "I'm the owner of Sterling Motors. I'd like to meet with you today if possible." 2 o'clock at the main office. Marcus's heart raced. "Ma'am, I was fired. I don't think—" "I know exactly what happened," she said. "That's why I want to meet. Will you come?" He arrived early, wearing his only suit. The receptionist led him to a top-floor office with windows overlooking the city. The woman from the parking garage stood up from behind the desk. Marcus's mouth fell open. "Surprised?" Catherine Sterling smiled. "I don't usually work on Saturdays, but I'd stayed late reviewing quarterly reports. That's why Richard didn't recognize me. I often dress down when I visit the garages unannounced." "You own the company," Marcus said, still processing. "I do. And I spent the last 3 days reviewing what happened." She gestured to a chair. Please sit. Marcus sat, his mind spinning. I spoke with your former colleagues, Catherine continued. Do you know what they told me? That you're this mechanic in the shop. That you stay late to help the younger guys learn. That you once fixed a single mother's car for free because she couldn't afford the repairs and needed to get to work. Marcus looked down at his hands. I just do what feels right. Richard Westbrook has been fired, Catherine said. He's been writing up good employees for minor violations while protecting his friends who cut corners. Your situation made me look closer at how he was running things. She leaned forward. Marcus, I want to offer you his job, shop manager, better hours, better pay, and the authority to make decisions based on common sense instead of rigid rules. Marcus couldn't speak. Manager? Him? I have a 5-year-old daughter, he finally said. I need to pick her up from school. I need to be there for dinner and bedtime. The position has flexible hours, Catherine said. I built this company after my husband died, while raising my son alone. I understand what it means to be a single parent. Family comes first. Marcus felt tears prick his eyes. For 3 days he'd barely slept, terrified about how he'd provide for Sophie. Why, he asked. Why would you do this? Catherine smiled. Because 6 years ago, when I was building this company from nothing, someone gave me a chance when I needed it most. He saw past what I looked like on paper and saw who I was. I've been trying to build that kind of company ever since. She extended her hand. What you did in that parking garage, that's the kind of person I want leading my team. Someone who helps because it's right, not because it's profitable. Marcus shook her hand, his voice thick. When do I start? Monday. And Marcus? Bring Sophie by sometime. We have a daycare center on the 3rd floor I think you should know about. That night Marcus picked up Sophie and took her for ice cream. As they sat in the booth, her little face covered in chocolate, he thought about the strange path life takes. Getting fired had felt like the end. But sometimes the end of one thing is the beginning of something better. Sometimes doing the right thing costs you everything in the moment, but gives you more than you could imagine later. Daddy, why are you smiling? Sophie asked. Because I'm thinking about your teacher's lesson, he said. About helping people. Did you help someone? I tried to, Marcus said, and it turns out that person helped me right back. Sophie grinned, ice cream on her nose. That's how it works, Daddy. That's what sharing means. Out of the mouths of 5-year-olds, Marcus thought. Sometimes the simplest truths are the ones we forget. He'd helped a stranger in the rain and lost his job, but that stranger had turned out to be exactly the person who could change his life. Not because she had power, but because she had the wisdom to recognize character when she saw it. As Marcus tucked Sophie into bed that night, he thought about the lesson he'd accidentally taught her. That kindness is never wasted. Even when it seems to cost us everything. Sometimes especially then. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment sharing a time when doing the right thing led you somewhere unexpected. Your stories inspire others to keep choosing kindness, even when the outcome isn't clear.